Alright, today I'm going to be unboxing 2 summer Bentos from the Hookup Tackle. I got one Griff made 2 weekends ago, and this is the one Ben put out last weekend. I just opened them to check that my extra stuff was in there. I also added up what's all in this box from one of the pictures they posted a few weekends ago of it. Came out to $4.94. These were both $100 each, so pretty good value. I kind of have a breakdown of everything that's in this box too. That being said, we'll go ahead and get into the first one. Like I said, this was the one Griff put out. Super summer bento right there. I also ordered some hooks and some leader that I'll need for my upcoming trip to Lake St. Clair. These are the hooks I ordered, the Nishini drop shot hooks. When you tie it, you snell your knot around there, so it always keeps that hook straight. So that's one of the most annoying things when drop shot fishing. Your hook gets all twisted up or starts sitting sideways after you catch a few fish, gets tangled up. This prevents all that. Alright, this has a mix of top water, strolling, jerk baits, swim baits, all sorts of stuff. It's also the leader I ordered. It's pretty reliable. I'll either use this or the Seaguar Pounce that recently came out. That's a little more abrasion resistant. I feel like this holds a knot better. Of course, there's a helicopter going by. Hopefully that isn't too loud. Got some Hide Up Stagger 3-inch. Like I said, I'll be going to St. Clair, so anything swim bait or small bait related is a plus. Those look pretty good. That's in the, I don't even know how to pronounce that color, Hi-O. It's pretty much like a shad pattern, like an American shad. Those will do well. They're flat on top. I don't know if that makes them swim a little bit differently. I've got their Hide Up box before, where you can't really order these in the US either. They don't have most of their stuff available on the Hookup website, so it's kind of like you get it in these box type of things that they special order to throw in stuff. I've gotten a few of the other boxes, like the, what was it, Raid Japan box that had like $700 worth of stuff, and yeah, that box was crazy. I'm glad I jumped on that, so that's why going forward I'm gonna start ordering a bunch of these. Just you get so much for your value, and you could even sell a few things and get your money back, and then you just have a few $100s worth of stuff in tackle. Now, for a lot of this stuff, I probably wouldn't pay full price. Like these Jackal drift rods, I got a few packs because actually at a few fishing conventions they were doing like 4 for $12 when this retails for like 12 or 13 itself. Doesn't make sense to buy most of this new. On the other hand, I have bought a lot of these baits with the heads, the Bay Rough fish. If you rig these right, you can kind of walk the dog underwater with them. So it's a really cool action that you really only get with these paired with their jig head. Or you could rig it the other way around, and just kind of have a strolling bait that you can twitch. But this is the rigging I'm talking about, and you really do get that darting action. This is the hookup exclusive color that they do in a bunch of baits where they pair, they join up with, or collaborate, I should say, with a bunch of different companies, and they have Game Over, and I think there are other exclusive colors, Cokehead, but they have some stuff with Lucky Craft, a few other brands, Raid. They just get their special color. It's a really nice white. Let's see, we've got a Megabass Vision 110. That'll do well. Lake St. Clair. This color is Sexy Monroe, I believe. It's an SPC color. So that's their limited line of colors they come out with. I believe once a month, typically. Sometimes it's a little longer. They bring back a lot of old colors too, and there's some really nice ones I like, some that I don't care too much about. But this one will do well in some stained water. I don't really have any +1 jerk baits, so this will help me get a bit deeper depending on where those fish in Lake St. Clair are. I'm going to be fishing from the bank, but if I can get to some deeper water from the bank, or just get down a little lower with this, that might help. Let's see. Got some OSP Doe Live Stick Fats. I could probably find a way to fish these. I don't typically fish baits like this, but I know these will be good on like the free rig. These just feel a tad bit heavy, so I might throw these probably on a Texas rig on my bait casting setup. That would probably be a good use for these, but I do like that color. Not sure what color they are, but that'll work in the rivers around me here in Southwest Ohio. We got the I can't pronounce it, the full cast, so this might be a little heavier than the original. Everyone was selling these guys for like 20 bucks. So there's a fifth of the box right there, plus that $25 Vision 110. That's half the box's value right there. Like I said, I would never pay full price for this, but it's a super interesting bait that I could probably try out. There's a pond I fish sometimes with like lily pads, and I put this on a little weed guard drop shot hook maybe, and toss it in there, let a bass grab it for a few seconds. That would probably work. Drag it on top of the lily pads. This has been a whole big craze. Anything with tentacles or like dice baits have recently blown up. Now everything's kind of forward-facing sonar and strolling. But yeah, this was a big trend for a while. I never would have bought these one by itself, but that's what's nice about these boxes, is you get to try a whole bunch of different things. Got a Union Gill Swimmer. This is kind of like the Megabass bluegill bait, but you got a treble on the end. So I could throw this on like my deep crank rod, my chatterbait rod. It has a good bend to it. That'll probably be good for that. These get bit. Like, this is like a guaranteed bait to catch you fish. So not upset about that. Got a good bluegill pattern. There's a lot of bluegill ponds around me too that bass will target those fish in this size, so that'll be a good fish catcher for me. Got some Drink Crazy Whipper frogs. I believe these float, and you can kind of Texas rig them and just skate them across the lily pads. And I recently got into frog fishing, so these will be good for that. Alright, these, they just raised the price of jackhammers actually. So these are like, used to be 15, but they're trying to sell these for 20 bucks each, which I think is insane. But we got one in a chartreuse white and a black and blue. So like I said, there's dirty water. I can throw these out. They also included, where are they? I guess this is the only color they sent. Some Yamamoto Zaccos. This won't pair up with these colors really, but I have lots of trailers for chatterbaits, so I can find something else for those. this would actually pair up with this Teckle blade waker right here. So that'd be a really good trailer. I don't know how this chatterbait really works. I know it kind of should be a little, it looks like it could be subsurface. Like when you retrieve it, it'll probably pull up in the water column. So that could be a good pairing. These plastics are a little heavier than most of the trailers I have, so that might keep it down a little more. Be a good summer bait. Got some horizon heads, so these are used a lot to stroll. I've been pairing up with some Nico crawls, which are, I believe, in the 3-inch range. These hooks are a little bit bigger than what I typically use. Also weedless, that'll come in handy probably. I don't have the greatest use for these, but I like getting jig heads. I love getting terminal tackle. A lot of my orders are a lot of terminal tackle. Owner block heads. Don't really use something this light, but it could come in handy. The biggest problem I find is a lot of really light jig heads, like 1/32 ounce, will still have like a 1/0 hook. That says it's a size 1, but I feel like that's pretty big for a size 1. I just like really tiny hooks for a lot of my super finesse baits. Another pack of horizon heads. This is a Valley Hill collaboration with Lucky Craft. So the LV500, and they also put a blade down here. And I have caught an insane amount of Ohio River striped bass with this. Striped bass, hybrid striped bass. I just throw it out at a hydro dam and retrieve it really quick right subsurface, and they'll come up and destroy it. And I never broke off one of these. They just beat the hell out of it where it was cracked open. I've caught so many fish on one of these. So this will do well in dirty water. I wouldn't typically buy this color. I try to stay in like silvers and whites just to covers most of my bases around here. Got a Megabass Live X Model 1 LBO. I've never used this before, but this might come in handy at Lake St. Clair. It's just a diving minnow, 3/8 an ounce, so I can throw this on my jerkbait setup, on my spinning rod. That'll probably do well. Like that colorway too. Got some more Owner blockheads, some heavier ones this time with a 1/0 hook. I'll definitely use that size. I typically buy 3/16 to 1/4 just for casting distance, but I'll use these. Got a Tackle Kick Knocker. I believe these retail for like $20, so I'm already at like $200 to $250 just through this pile. Just gonna say I have my little list right here. It's a Tackle Kick Knocker. Let's see, Kick Knocker, $20 retail on most sites. What color is that? Co-AU. Not sure what that is, but that is a really nice color. Most of my top waters, if I do top water fish, are black, so that'd be good for some real clear water. Good natural presentation with some red gills. We got the Osakana Swimmer 145. I actually have like 15 of these from that raid box I bought from the Hookup Tackle, and these sell for like $20 each at least. I threw one down in the Florida Keys and got some follows from tarpon. It's got a real light paddle in the tail, so what I did was I inserted 2 nail weights into the tail. That gave it a really good thump. It's a line through also, so you can go line through in the belly or line through up top. So really versatile bait, freshwater or saltwater. Comes that damn helicopter again. Imakatsu. I bought in a few of their baits. They have some nice little minnow elastomer baits that I've had some pretty good success, like in the creeks around me for white bass. This should be a good topwater bait. You could hook it weedlessly, run it across some lily pads or something. I'm sure that'll get 8, and it's got a little tiny weed guard on top. Here's another Imakatsu mouse bait called the Metal Mouse, which just looks badass. You got some tails you can rig on there, feathered treble at the back to look like a tail. I'm not sure how this retrieves or how this walks, but I might do a late summer like topwater fishing video with this. That'd be a cool bait to use, cool inclusion into the box. Like I said, it's something I wouldn't buy. This is a really good color. I've actually bought the 110 Junior in this color. I've bought quite a few, and I actually caught some peacock bass on this in my Florida trip, and I also broke it off on a peacock bass. That and the +1 will be a really good bait for me on Lake St. Clair. That's the name. I'm not going to try to pronounce it. Valken, I'm not sure. I could probably throw this for trout in my local trout stream. Some of the log jams get like 5, 6 foot, 7 foot deep. So this guy could swim down there. I can throw it on one of my lighter rods because it's only 2.8 grams, right around 3/32 of an ounce. That will be a good multi-use bait right there. Got a duo jerkbait. I really love the hooks that come on these, and I've bought these by themselves too. They're the nano hooks. See, suspending 5/8 of an ounce. I don't really buy these bright, loud colorways usually. Let's see, moving tungsten bearings, so it kind of has like the LBO system from Megabass, and cast pretty far. Got another blade bait. It's gonna be, why'd I say blade bait? Chatterbait from Nori's. It says sound effects, so it might have a chattering with how this connection is. 1/2 ounce in a bluegill color. Has a really interesting keeper too. That should hold stuff well. I don't really fish with chatterbaits that often, but now I have a bunch, so I have no reason not to. Also don't really fish with a buzzbait, but this is a really cool one with a double blade, and they probably smack each other as they turn. Put a trailer on that, maybe a frog that kicks. That'd be a really good one. Try out more topwaters. Like I said, I don't fish topwaters that much. I don't know, the fisheries around me would probably be good for it. Like, I'll fish a whopper plopper and stuff like that, but I'd rather fish something subsurface that gives me more chances at fish. I don't want to just look for that topwater bite and not tie anything else on. Got another Kickwalker. What colorway is that? Hell yeah gill. It's a cool color. Got the orange hit, got the chartreuse hit, got the red gills. That'll definitely get bit. Let's see, so that's like $400 right there, at least $450 if I were to buy it retail. And there's the total that I added them all up to. Got this Magnum Blitz DREX Deep Runner. I actually have a rod that I can throw this on, but like I'm limited to shore-based fishing, so there's not really a place I could get this to its depth or cast out far enough. So this is more like a boat lure. So I'll probably sell this or something along that lines. I'm not gonna fish that, honestly. All right, now we got the big evergreen Amazon top water walking style bait. I believe this thing is 1.5 ounces or 2 ounces, 43. So 1 ounce and 5/8 maybe. That is just a badass top water. I'm sure, like the name says, this could catch some pretty big fish in the Amazon. I know people fish this size of lure down for like really big peacock bass. Myself, I could probably catch some bass around here on it, or some hybrids down along a hydro dam. But this will probably be in storage until I go back to Florida. I usually go every year or other year. This would be good to throw out maybe snook or tarpon or something like that. Jacks will hit something like this. Just a big top water bait going across the water. Can't really go wrong with, especially when things are feeding on top. So I'll probably get some big bites. Alright, that does it for that box. We're gonna move on to Ben's box. This is the jerkbait / strolling. He said is way better than Griff's box, which is pretty hard to beat. But he did release 4 of these boxes. There's a crankbait one, there was a soft plastic hard bait, there's this jig head with strolling baits and jerk baits, which I thought would come in handy for Lake St. Clair smallmouth, so I bought this one. That's the Ben Special Summer Bento, Dog Day of Summer Bento box. Like I said, I just opened these up to make sure my extra items in here are there. It's a Ryugi Pierce Dagger. I usually buy size 10 hooks for my line through swim bait, 6 cents heads, which catch a ton of fish. I fish them with Kitex, and with those heads where these swim through, or the line through head goes up when the fish bites, the hook stays in the mouth. I make a Kitex last at least 10 to 12 fish that way. So these should be sticky sharp. Be good to throw with those. This will mostly have strolling and jerkbait based items. So here's a big pointer 128. I was thinking this would probably be good for some muskie. It's 1 ounce. It dives around 5 foot, and most of the places from the bank I'll be fishing St. Clair have a depth around 5 foot, so this will run right down near the bottom. I probably have a good chance of catching muskie or pike on this, so I'll probably run. I have these light little Ryugi leaders. I believe they're 30-pound wire leaders. They don't really affect the action of baits too much, so I'll probably throw this on there, try to catch some pike or my first muskie up at Lake St. Clair. Got a Vision 110 in a really cool fine art colorway. This is the FA Striped Shiner. I actually wanted to buy some of these in the junior when they came out, but they sold out before I could get it. So this will be a really good bait and a really nice colorway. Got another Vision 110. This is in the YMC, which I bought in the junior. It really pops. I really like those yellow bars down the side. Kind of got a gold top and an orangish burnt orange bottom. That'll be a really good one. So there's $50 when this box was also $100. There's $50 of the value right there in these 2 baits. And people do pay full price for Vision 110s. So here's the 110 plus 1 junior in the rainbow colorway, which could be interesting. Has that really orange hit on the side that smallmouth will definitely go for. Like, they will not pass up something like this. And it's nice to have something in a 3/8 ounce size with the plus 1 bill on the front. So I'll definitely use this. So there's $75 of the value. And this brings it up to $100 right here. Another plus 1 junior in the Alien Gold SPC colorway that recently just launched. So I didn't even have to go on my way to buy one of these. I just get one in this box. This is recently released. Got the last Vision 110 right here, another junior in Hasu Red Eye. That'll be a really good fish catcher. It's pretty natural. It's got that red eye surrounded by a purple hit. I can always use more juniors. I actually buy these the most if I'm buying a mega bass lure, and these actually work the best for my uses. So like shallow rivers for smallmouth. I've used them down in Florida for peacock bass and caught a few, so these definitely work. I like throwing them on my spinning tackle too. Got some big owner round ultra heads, 12 ounce, so a little under half an ounce, probably 3/8. These are supposed to be paired with some of the baits for strolling, but I'm probably going to throw like a big crawl or something on there on my bait casting setup. Just use it to jig around mostly. These kind of got the recessed line tie too. Got some lead coming up, kind of keep it straight up and down when you're fishing it. I believe those included those two fish with these new Megabass Sling Shad. I don't know if they're like actually new. They're recently re-released. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that, but that would pair up pretty nice with those. It's supposed to be for strolling, but like I said, I fish for hybrid striped bass, so I can throw these out on the Ohio River. Probably just kind of shake them in the middle of the water column, get bit off of that. Got some more sling shads. This is in the tinsel brown color. I feel like that could do well in clean or dirty water, especially with the sparkle, the glitter in it. They really are basically just like a super fluke in shape. The plastic might be a little bit better, but I would just buy a super fluke instead of these. Got some Raid fish roller in the 4-inch, stained gold. Really nice smaller sparkle in there. So I like that they use some real tiny glitter. Actually pretty good looking. Probably catch fish on that. Some bigger Raid super fish rollers, the 5-inch Flash Wagasaki. These will also pair up well with these Ultra heads. Probably going to have to throw that on casting tackle. I see a lot of people throwing super heavy, like strolling baits, like something I would think is heavy, like a 5-inch bait with like a 3-ounce head on these light, like super light spinning rods made for strolling. I get you're mostly doing it from the boat, so you can kind of lob cast it, but I wouldn't feel too great about throwing something that heavy on something with like a stinger tip. Some more super fish rollers. These are in, I'm just going to put that right there because I'm not going to read that. Almost like a bluegill perch pattern. That might kind of come in handy. There's perch in Lake St. Clair. Got a Wonder Blade 80. I believe this is half an ounce, a little over half an ounce at 5/8 of an ounce. I'm not sure if it shimmies, but it does have a blade down here, and that will get bit. A lot of fish will just eat off of a blade. Nice reflective sides on that. Some metallic half chartreuse shad. Depth of 7 feet, running depth. You can probably retrieve it a little faster. I can throw this. One of my spinning rods that I have, an 8'6", I kind of use it for hybrids. I kind of use it for like 3/4 of an ounce baits, but it'll throw this pretty far, no problem. Looks like this will cast like a bullet too. Got a Lucky Craft pointer. It's going to be an NC Ghost Minnow. It's the Pointer 100. These will get bit also. These are always good jerk baits. I usually buy the smaller size. I think it's a Vision, not Vision, that's Megabass. I'm stuck on Megabass since I just got like 5 of them or 6 of them. This is a pointer. Yeah, I usually fish the 80 size. They got some nice colorways in that too. Got some jig heads for strolling, and 6.2 grams for 2/0, and then 5.2 grams in a 2/0. Like I said, these will probably be used for bottom fishing, but they got these great big hooks on them. The nice bend. They're all weedless. They probably don't sell these weedless heads too much, so that's probably why they're thrown in here. I'll find a use for those though. Like I said, I always love tackle. Any sort of tackle, terminal specifically. I have boxes and boxes of terminal. So I will find a place for these. I will find a way to throw them and lose them eventually. They will serve a purpose. Another Duo jerkbait. I really like that color. Where do they put the color of these boxes? There we go. What does that say? Wagasaki ND. It's got those nano hooks I like. Can't really go wrong with a Duo bait. I buy all their trout baits. I buy all their smaller finesse baits. I haven't really bought a lot of their hard baits, but now I got quite a few to pick from. Here's another one right here. That color is Matte Rider. These will both definitely catch fish. Both super natural. I'm sure these have a fantastic action. I don't think Duo puts anything bad out that doesn't work. Got an OSB Varuna. Yellow, kind of matte side, matte white finish, and then orange on the belly. What's this color called? Pearl Sharp Back. I've never bought one of these OSPs, but can't go wrong with that, I'm assuming. Or any of these jerkbaits, really, they'll all catch fish. Here's another Verona. That is in colorway number Numeri Shad. Numeri Shad? Yeah, that's what that says. It's 3/5 of an ounce. I can cast this on my jerkbait casting setup. We got a Raid Level Minnow. It's interesting looking. It's almost got like a scoop on top of the bill. So that might offer some more water resistance, give it more of a side-to-side action. That's in Jewel Wagasaki. Never thrown any Raid hard baits, so I'll give that a try. Give feedback on that. Let's see what's left. Got some more Raid fish rollers in the 4-inch. You know, a lot of these boxes have colors that they don't really sell and they're trying to get rid of. These have had great colors in this box. These are the new Haze ST. I actually just ordered a pack of these from somewhere else for drop shotting on Lake St. Clair. So now, I believe I bought this color, Ghost Shad. That nice sparkle. That'll catch fish. And then Moroku. That's kind of like a classic Megabass color. Like I've bought a ton of the Hazadong shads in that color, which are pretty much the same as these baits. They just have a little flat tail and up and down tail with a little ridge on it that might make it quiver. I've seen some footage of this and it looks like a phenomenal drop shot bait. So I got 3 packs of those now. That's fantastic that includes in here, because I know they'll sell these regardless. They don't need to include them in a box like this, but they did, so I always appreciate that. Alright, so we got our haul over here with some random stuff that fell off. Yeah, if you're thinking of buying a bento box from the Hookup Tackle, I don't recommend the normal ones because you're really getting $100 worth of tackle for $100. Maybe if you want like a curated box, that's what you should go for, but I would just buy the baits if they're at retail value and get what I want in colors I want. Now these, I would say, have an incredible value. The other box, I believe I sold the Raid top waters from. I sold 3 out of the 4 and got my money back for the Raid Japan box. So I got like at least $500 of tackle. Mind you, that's retail. I wouldn't pay that. But still, the value's there. And so is it with these. So this is like $800 of tackle if you were to buy them separately. And that was $200. So definitely recommend.